70s, no? So may base, meron niyang acceleration. You get it? Basta pag may nakita kayong matataas na ganyan, acceleration na yan, even by eyeball. Kita niyo naman yung difference kanina, di ba? Pagka minimal variability. So, again, yan. Okay? Any concerns? Again, 10-10 and 15-15. So this one is a sample case, 25 weeks, gravida 1, 35 weeks with severe. 25 years old, gravida 1, 35 weeks with severe pre-eclampsia. Pag may mga ganyan may sakit, pathologic na agad. Huwag na kayong sasagot na assurance. Okay, nilagyan niya na ng 190 over 100, assurance pa rin. Clue nyo na yon na this stem is leading to a possibility na abnormality. Okay, so una kayo sumagot ng send your patient home, assure your patient, mga ganyan. Pagka nilagay na nila sa stem. Okay, so ito, are there accelerations? Meron bang accelerations? Are there contractions? O, saan natitignan niyo pag contractions? Sa baba, di ba? Yes, may contractions. Ayan, o. Hindi nga lang actively contracting. Pero meron, di ba? Pero ang focus natin is dito lang. Are there accelerations? Meron. Ayan, no? Oh, acceleration yan. Pero 5 yan. 25 weeks, so accepted ng 10, di ba? So sabi ko lang, 25 weeks lang siya, oh. It's been less than 32. May acceleration. Kasi more than 10 eh. I mean, nagpo-fall siya sa 10. As you can see from here. Okay? Next, 35 weeks. G3. Oh. Dapat yan at least 15 beats ang acceleration. Skip ko na yung iba kasi wala na tayong time. Okay, now let's talk about deceleration. Siyempre, pag deceleration, pagbagsak ng heartbeat naman. Opposite acceleration. So when you say deceleration, what are the types? Could either be early, late, variable, and prolonged. So when you talk about decelerations, there should be contractions. You cannot interpret deceleration without contractions. Okay, so you have to be able to compare it with the contractions or babanggain nyo with the contractions para maalam nyo kung ano yung early or ano yung late or ano yung variable. So when you say early, gradual onset to nadir, decrease and return of the fetal heart rate associated with the uterine contraction. Ibig sabihin ito. Usually, andito siya, before a contraction. Diba? Pag pinagtapat mo. Yan. Pwedeng head compression, which will lead to vagal stimulation, and then there will be a decrease. Fetal heart rate. Sorry. Pag late, it is after a contraction. Contraction to. Ito yung pag-dip. Okay, class? Naintindihan nyo? Yan. Late decelerations are always pathologic. Okay? Because of uteroplacental insufficiency, maternal hypotension, or uterine hyperactivity. Pag variable deceleration, pwede siyang mag-fall sa either early or meaning before, pwede ring mirroring the uterine peak of uterine contraction, or pwede rin sa after. Ibig sabihin, hindi siya consistently nasa during, before the uterine contraction or after the uterine contraction. Abrupt onset or abrupt decrease in fetal heart rate at least 15 beats below the baseline, lasting at least 15 seconds and less than 2 minutes. Tulad nito. So from 140, bumagsak siya ng almost 80, less than 2 minutes. Okay? Okay pa tayo, class? Tulad nito. Oh, this one is before nangyari. This one is before uli. This one is katapat ng ano. So those are variable. Dapat may rapid return. Okay, ito variable din to. Again, when you look at the differentiation of the different types of our decelerations, dapat alam nyo kung early, late, or variable, ha? Okay? Now, prolonged deceleration is at least 2 minutes. Kanina less than di ba? At least 2 minutes, but less than 10 minutes. As you can see here. Okay, bumaba siya unti-unti, tapos hindi siya nag-recover agad. Pag yan naman, alam nyo na na-prolonged yan. Diba? Again, this is the contraction. And ito yung pagbagsak niya. Okay, na walang return, rapid return to recovery. Meaning going back to the baseline. Okay? You understand, class? Okay, so this one, 130 bits with a moderate variability, with accelerations, without decelerations. With the contractions lasting from every 5 to 7 minutes interval, lasting for 60 to 80 seconds. Ito yung contraction. Okay, that's how you interpret NST. Okay, baseline CTG. Okay, that's intrapartum already kasi may contraction, so meaning nagle-labor yung patient. Okay? Now, sa non-stress test, it is a test of fetal condition. So, ito yung fetal movement kasi nasabi ko sa inyo. Okay? Kasi pag nag-move ang bata, expectedly dapat tumaas ang heartbeat. Okay? Para siyang tumakbo, dapat tumaas ang heartbeat. So, yun yung expected, no? Examination of the fetal heart rate characteristic in the response of fetal movement. So, binigyan kayo ng ganyang tracing. Sabi, interpret. A, non-reactive. B, reactive. C, positive. D, negative. So, when you talk about positive and negative, we're talking about contraction stress test. When you say reactive and non-reactive, we're talking about a non-stress test. Okay? Yan ang tracing na binigay sa inyo. Huwag niyong tingnan yung pag walang contractions, non-stress yun. Okay? So, dapat ma-differentiate nyo na ang non-stress test tsaka CST. Pag sinabing CST, from the name itself, contraction stress test. So, dapat may contractions. Ang very important sa non-stress test, again, is the fetal movement. There should be an increase in the fetal heart rate for every fetal movement, as you can see here. Okay, may movement, may increase. May movement, may increase. May movement, may increase. May movement, may increase. Okay? You get it? Kasi baka malito kayo pag binigyan kayo ng CTG tracing. Okay, so how do we do the procedure? We ask the patient to lie down, perform Lupol's maneuver. Bakit importante? Para alam nyo kung saan nyo ilalagay yung probe ng fetal heart rate, no? Kasi kung bridge presentation yan, dapat ang probe nyo nasa taas. Okay? Fundus for the contraction, and yung fetal heartbeat pag bridge nasa taas. Okay? Kung nasaan ang fetal back, nandun ang fetal heart rate. Okay? Pag cephalic, nasa baba, lower quadrant, pero right pa or left pa. So, kailangan mag-Lupol's kayo. Kasi kailangan ma-feel nyo yung, how do you describe Lupol's 2? Diba? Kapag ka straight, smooth, fetal back yun. So, dun nyo ilalagay yung probe. Pagka nodularities, that will be the fetal small parts. Okay? So, hindi mo dapat dun ilagay. Okay? So, reactive, if there are at least 2 accelerations within a 20-minute window, as you can see here. Okay? Dapat 20 minutes observation. Now, if you're going to consider sleep cyclicity, you can extend. Pero dapat, bigyan mo ng stimulation. Either pakainin mo siya, or mag-bell ka, vibroacoustic stimulation. Okay? Now, it is recommended that accelerations with or without fetal movement be accepted, but you need to extend a 40-minute or longer tracing to account for a fetal sleep cycle. Okay? Before you say na insufficient fetal reactivity. Okay? So, hindi ibig sabihin na kunyari sa step ng question nakalagay doon. A 20-minute tracing revealed the following. Pinakita yung tracing sa inyo, nakita nyo. Minimal variability, meaning parang straight. What is the next best step? Ang next best step doon, tulad ng sinabi ko sa inyo kanina, repeat the NST pero i-extend mo to another 20 minutes to account for the fetal sleep cycles. Okay? So ito, pag gaganyan ng tracing, tignan mo agad. Walang contractions, NST yan. Okay? Pero walang fetal movement to, ha? Okay? Dapat may fetal movement. Okay? NST reactive. Ba't nga ba walang fetal movement? So, dapat meron, ha? Okay? Pagka non-reactive, ganyan ang itsura niya. Okay? Now, what's the principle of a non-reactive test? Other than hypoxia and neurologic depression, pwede rin fetal sleep, medications, or maternal cigarette smoking. So you have to be able to ask your patients, okay, kung anong consideration. But most likely, kapag ka non-reactive, it's hypoxic, meaning pathologic, or neurologic depression. No? Pero, syempre, interview nyo yung patient. Bukod sa fetal sleep, nakamag-sulfate yan. Especially for patients na tinitreat for preeclampsia. No, to prevent convulsions, and as a neuroprotectant, binibigyan sila ng magnesium sulfate. Okay? Or baka naman nagsigarilyo yung nanay, kaya depressed si baby. Okay? So this one, pangit na yan, pag ganyan yung nakita nyo. Ang daming dip eh. Ito yung baseline nyo, 140s. Diba? Tapos ang dami, paulit-ulit, repetitive. Variable decelerations, at least 3 in 20 minutes, or decelerations lasting for more than 1 minute is a worse prognosis. Okay? Pag nakita nyo, so huwag nyo i-disregard yung mga pictures sa modules nyo, ha? Baka mamaya, tama rin ako maghanap, yan lang ipakita ko sa inyo. Pag di nyo pa nasagot, ewan ko na lang. Diba? Now, interval between testing would be 7 days. Okay? Pag low risk, in-NST mo siya, pwedeng hindi mo na ulitin, no? Pero to be sure, 7 days kung gusto mo. Pero pag high risk, iba yung interval. Okay? More frequent testing is necessary. Post-term pregnancy is considered as high risk. What do you mean by post-term? Ilang weeks yun? More than 42 weeks. 42 weeks and above. So, 41 weeks and 6 days is not 42 weeks. Okay? Hindi yung 1 day lang. Pwede mo na ito. Hindi siya nira-round off. Okay? Then, type 1 diabetes or pwedeng type 2 din, fetal growth restriction, and gestational hypertension. Basta any. Pag may nakita kayo kunyari sa stem ng question with bronchial asthma, acute exacerbation, or cardiovascular disease, or epilepsy, when do you repeat the NST? Okay, para sure, less than 7 days. Okay, pag low risk, pwedeng more than 7 days. Meaning, when you say low risk, walang medical comorbidities. Okay? Now, the false normal non-stress test result, these are the causes. Okay? Now, sa contraction stress test, this is a test of uteroplacental function. Okay? Test of fetal well-being, ano yun? Non-stress test. Test of uteroplacental function is a contraction stress test. What's the mechanism behind that? Because for every contractions, there will be vasoconstriction. So there is a physiologic hypoxia to the baby. Okay? But if your baby is stressed inside, normally magre-recover eh. Diba? Pero kapag ka-stressed yung baby, like for example, hypertensive talaga si mommy, so vasoconstricted talaga siya, hindi niya kaya na ma-tolerate yung contraction. Okay? Kaya kakaroon ng positive contraction stress test. Okay, with uterine contractions, there will be myometrial vessels, constriction, decreased blood flow to the intervenous space, and brief periods of unimpaired oxygen exchange. So pag ang bata ay stressed, hindi niya kayang matolerate yung brief hypoxia na yun, o yung physiologic hypoxia. Okay? Okay tayo? Sige. Sa contraction stress test, dapat may contractions, like what I'm telling you. So pag ganyan na ang tracing, most likely patungo na kayo sa CST na topic. Okay? So make sure na may contractions to be able to differentiate it from the non-stress test. Okay? Ayan. Diba? Ang daming contractions niyan. Pag naman di nyo pa makita yan, no? And then for every contractions, may bumababa yung heartbeat. Pero as you can see, nagre-recover siya agad. So ibig sabihin, natotolerate niya yung hypoxia. Kasi dapat mag-recover agad eh. Okay? Now, if hindi niya matolerate, then that would be already a problem. Okay? The abnormal fetus who has inadequate oxygen reserves cannot tolerate a uterine contraction and develops late deceleration. That's why my statement kanina, late decelerations are always pathologic. Okay? Variable decelerations is not always pathologic. Not unless, tulad nung nakita nyo kanina, na repetitive variable decels. Okay? Can you all understand na what early, late, and variable is? Nagagets? It coincides with the contractions. Early is possibility of head contraction, that is physiologic. Okay? Magpo-fall siya before the uterine contractions or together with the uterine contractions. Pag late is after. Pag variable, in a 20-minute tracing, pwedeng early, pwedeng late. Okay? A late deceleration is always pathologic. Okay? Now, what will be the contraindications for a contraction stress test? Yan yung mga contraindications. Okay? Bakit, doktora, may contraindications na ganito? Because you will stimulate the patient eh. Nagko-contract siya. Kung walang contractions, then do nipple stimulation. So, ibig sabihin, you're trying to test, no? Eh, kung may placenta previa yung pasyente, or may cervical incompetence, no? Hindi nyo pwedeng pag-contractin yan. Kasi mag-bleed sila. Okay? Kaya may contraindications. So, same procedure with your non-stress test, no? Pero kailangan ng contractions. So, kapag kulang ang contractions, do breast stimulation, okay? With clothing. Baka naman mamaya, boys, no? Ay, dok, nag-nipple stimulate ako, pero pagtingin ko, nakubad yung patient, tapos gumaganyan-ganyan kayo. Kailangan may clothing. Okay? And dapat, as much as possible, may kasama kayo. For the boys, ha? May kasama kayo sa loob. Okay? Alam niyo naman ang mga pasyente ngayon. Okay? So, pwede yung in-nipple stimulate. So, what's the mechanism behind that nipple stimulation? There will be release of oxytocin, no? Yung natural oxytocin ng nanay, that would cause uterine contractions. Or pag kulang, pwede kang mag-oxytocin. Kaya nga very important na alam nyo yung contraindications. Okay? Kasi baka mag-commit ka na ng mag-deliver. Pagka nag-oxytocin ka, baka mag-progress. So, hindi pwedeng preterm yan para i-CST mo. Okay? So, what will be the interpretation? Positive or negative. Pag sinabi mong negative, usually pag negative, negative eh, diba? Pero sa CST, pag negative, it's a good indicator. Okay? So pag hindi porke negative, pangit agad. Pag CST ang pinag-uusapan natin, negative or positive or equivocal or suspicious or hyperstimulatory. Ang ano. Pero pag positive, late decelerations, following 50% or more of uterine contractions, even if the contractions are fewer than 3 in 10 minutes. Meaning sa tracing, more than 50% nakikita mo na maraming may deceleration, late deceleration na yun. You get it? Okay? So please, take note of the contractions. Kasi sa stem ng question, baka ilagay niya doon. contractions lasting for 30 minutes interval. You're going to do CST. Is that sufficient? Hindi. Ibig sabihin, kailangan nyo kasi siyang i-interpret, okay, in a 10-minute, in a 20-minute tracing. Okay, dapat more than 50%. Okay, so as you can see here, these are decelerations, pero hindi naman siya mababa. Pagbaba lang yan because of the uterine contraction. So this is a negative CST. Okay, a positive CST is like this. After contraction, okay, more than 50% of the tracing. Kasi for ilang contraction siya? 1, 2, 3, 4. Tapos ilan ang decelerations? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's almost equivalent to the contractions. Okay, so late decelerations yan, that is already a positive CST. Okay? Kung ito ay ganyan, tapos dalawa lang ang contraction, baka basahan ko pa yan ng negative. Or equivocal. Okay? So, sabihin, kailangan ko pang mag-nipple stimulate para mag-contract. Okay? Now, let's look into the sonographic assessment. No? We can do fetal biometry, meaning measurement ng baby, no? Either by parietal diameter, abdominal circumference. Naalala nyo yun? Tapos na kayo sa ultrasound, di ba? Ay, hindi pa ba? Sorry. Okay, and then biophysical scoring or Doppler velocimetry. Okay, pag fetal biometry, ito yung sonographic assessment. Pwedeng by parietal diameter, pwedeng femur length, no? Ito yung femur, mahabang bone. Abdominal circumference, no? As you can see here. And head circumference. Tapos, i-compute yan ng ultrasound machine kung ilang weeks. Okay? At kung ano ang weight ni baby. So, ang result ng fetal biometry is the age of gestation and estimated fetal weight. Dapat lahat yan nandyan. Head, abdominal, and femur. Sa head, it contains BPD and head circumference. Okay? So, 4 dapat. Kompleto. When you look at the fetal biometry. Hindi pwedeng 3 out of 4. Dapat 4/4. Okay? Dapat lahat yun. Para makompute niya yung estimated fetal weight and age of gestation. Now, what's the significance of fetal biometry? No? If the estimated fetal weight is less than 10 percentile of the gestational age, then you can call it as intrauterine growth restriction. So, an intrauterine growth restriction is pathologic. Always pathologic. Now, how will you know? Meron tayong natawag na Colorado chart. And these are the expected na fetal weight. Okay? Kapag ka, kunyari, 35 weeks, ang estimated will be at least 187 to 3,000. If it's less than 187 for a 35-weeker, that could be, especially pag 10%, that could be an intrauterine growth restriction. If more than 3,000 naman, at the 35 weeks, that could already be macrosomic baby. Okay? So this, hindi nyo kailangan memorize ang class. Kahit ako hindi ko memorize. Okay? Huwag kayong mag-alala. Ang concept lang is that you know that it's less than 10 percentile to say that it's an intrauterine growth restriction. Ito, kailangan nyo itong memorize. Sorry, the next succeeding slides you need to memorize. BPS, kailangan nyo ng ultrasound dyan because these are the biophysical components. The fetal heart rate, fetal breathing, fetal movements, fetal tone, and amniotic fluid volume. Okay, so itong bullets 2 to 5, ultrasound yan dapat. Yung bullet 1, non-stress test. So, ang biophysical score is non-stress test or CTG plus ultrasound. Pero, pwede rin naman kaming tumanggap ng ultrasound lang kasi walang CTG, kunyari sa institution where you at. Mag-iiba lang ng pag-score. That's why I'm asking you to memorize. This one is fetal breathing. So, kasama yan sa component. Kita nyo, no? Yung abdominal circumference is ayan. Tapos nag-move siya. Okay? Hindi yan fetal head, ha? Bilog. Pero ito yung mga gastric bubbles. Kaya alam mong abdomen yan. Okay? Ito yung heart. Yan. Pag-move siya. The rise and fall of the chest. Okay? And then amniotic fluid volume is very important component. So, breathing, movement, and tone. When you say tone, yung pag-flex or hyperextend. Okay? Tone ng muscles. That's what we are talking about. Okay? And then amniotic fluid volume. Okay? So again, amniotic fluid volume, ito yun. Itong area na yan. Okay, this is the baby. Ito yung area ng amniotic fluid. Ini-measure natin yan. So, it could be SBP or amniotic fluid index. Okay, nakita niyo yung difference. So, these are the roles of your amniotic fluid volume. Okay, pwedeng too much or too little, which is both detrimental to the fetus. Okay? So how do we do the measurement? We measure the amniotic fluid volume. As in, may caliper kasi ang ultrasound, kasi may measure mo siya. Okay, pagka SVP, isang vertical pocket lang. Kapag amniotic fluid volume, 4 na quadrants. Okay, that's how you'll differentiate. Okay, ang normal values, ayan. Ito is amniotic fluid volume. Yung kanina, yung isa lang, pag yun ang pinakita sa exam, SVP. Okay, kunyari, nakita niyo yung picture kanina, di ba? Tapos, may measurement na nakalagay doon. Say for example, 8. Yung nakalagay, 8 cm. So, ibig sabihin, SVP yung tinatanong sa'yo. Pag ganyan yung nakita nyo na may 4 na measurement on all quadrants, then that's already amniotic fluid index. So, amniotic fluid index, kailangan nyo pong memorize ito ha. Pag normal, 5 to 24 cm. Oligohydramnios, less than 5 cm. Polyhydramnios, more than 24 cm. You have to know the normal value because you cannot interpret a BPS na tama kapag hindi nyo alam yung normal value. Kasi bibigyan kayo ng ultrasound result eh. Now, pag SVP, ang normal is 2 to 8 cm. So again even the residents nalilito dito ha. So SVP, ang normal is 2 to 8 cm. So pag sa stem ng question, nakalagay doon, SVP revealed 3 centimeters. Okay? Tapos pina-interpret sa'yo yung BPS, pina-compute sa'yo. Eh baka mamaya sabihin mo, ay 0 yan kasi no, abnormal, dapat 5 to 24 eh. Yung pala SVP yun, hindi AFI. You get it? Okay? Nasa stem ng question yun. Don't worry. Okay? Oligohydramnios is less than 5 and these are the significance of oligohydramnios. Ito, I'm sorry but you need to memorize this. Okay? 0 and 2 lang. So even numbers lang ang sagot dyan. Okay? Walang 5 over 10. It's 0 or 2. So, kailangan memorize nyo yan. No? Pag fetal breathing, more than or equal to 1 episode of rhythmic breathing lasting for more than or equal to 30 seconds. So, kunyari, lagay yung probe. Nakita mo na gumalaw yung chest. Then you have to look gano'ng katagal. Okay? Kasama yon. Fetal tone, 1 or more than 1 episode of extremity extension and subsequent return to flexion. Kasi baka mamaya, gumanon siya. Tapos wala na, nakaganon na lang. Dapat bumalik siya. Okay? That's tone. And then also, amniotic fluid volume. That's why it's very important that you have to know the values. Why is that important to memorize? Kasi tatanungin kayo, what's the next best step? So you have to know the score to be able to know the next best step. Ang hirap naman. Ganun talaga. Okay? Kailangan yung memorize it. This is basic. Okay? So, kunyari, binigyan kayo ng result. Kunyari, 0 breathing, no breathing was noted. 1 extension and return to flexion was noted. Mga ganyan. Kailangan computin nyo. 10 over 10 is the ideal. Meaning may kasamang NST. Pero pwede rin namang 8 over 10 if may naka-indicate na no NST was done. Or 8 over 8 na lang. Kasi NST is not done. So, 10 and 8/8 is acceptable. Okay? Ngayon, again, it's very important that you know the amniotic fluid volume, if it's decreased or normal. Kasi remember, the management of 8/10 with a decreased amniotic fluid volume is already considered as a chronic fetal asphyxia, and these are the things that you have to do. As opposed to a 6, parang, Dok, ang baba naman, 6. Tapos, edi ako. Iyan ko na, CCS ko na, i-admit ko na kasi 6 eh. Pero B, tingnan mo, normal naman yung amniotic fluid volume. So that's equivocal. Siyempre, obvious naman pag 0 or 2, deliver na agad yan. Okay? Pwede kayong bigyan ng scoring pagka mabait si Dr. Borlaza, tas interpretation lang. Pero pagka medyo sinipag si Doc, pwede akong magbigay ng ultrasound findings, reveal. Ganyan. So dapat, alam nyo yung computation. Again, 0 and 2 lang. Okay? Gets nyo? Sorry, you need to memorize this. Wala kayong choice. Believe me. Pwede akong gumawa ng 20 questions just by looking at that table. Okay? Noong oras na class? Ano na? 8:15 na. Okay, so ang haba naman kasi nitong module na to. Sa Doppler velocimetry, ang mga mini-measure natin are the vessels. No? Uterine artery, middle cerebral artery. Okay, ano ba ang logic behind that? Okay, when you say Doppler velocimetry, kailangan ng color flow yun, as you saw kanina dun sa picture. Okay, ito medyo complicated. Basta ang concept lang that you need to know is that ang mini-measure is number 1, the uterine artery. Okay, because if the uterine artery is constricted, kasi dapat may blood flow no? Pero if it's constricted, then ibig sabihin, pangit si baby. The uterine artery gives oxygenated blood. Hindi pangit si baby. I mean, pangit yung condition ni baby. Pangit. Sorry. Pangit yung condition ni baby, no? Because the function of the uterine artery is to give an oxygenated blood towards the baby. And also, yung carbon dioxide is away from the baby, as you can see. Okay, now, if there is constriction in the uterine artery, then ibig sabihin, pwedeng mag-cause ng intrauterine growth restriction sa baby. Okay? Spiral arteries ang pinakamaliit na vessel. Okay? So, pwede siyang mamatay, pwede siyang lumiit. Okay? So, dapat maganda ang flow. Okay? Intrauterine growth restriction is maliit yung bata, less than 10 percentile. Okay? So, walang oxygen at walang pagtanggal ng waste products is equivalent to a pangit na condition. Hypoxia to the fetal head. Okay? So, magpapakita, ito hindi nyo kailangan interpret to, kahit ako hindi ko yan kayang i-interpret. Okay, basta pag nakita nyo yan, tinanong, what vessel is being measured in the image below? Ito na yung idea yung pinaka-best na sagot. Okay? So, ito, pangit na yan. Yung baba, ito. Okay? Pangit na yan. Hindi nyo kailangan i-measure class. Huwag kayong mag-alala. Okay, pwede ring middle cerebral artery. Okay, MCA Doppler. Dapat pag MCA, makikita nyo to. Kasi ibig sabihin may color flow dun sa middle cerebral artery. Pwede yan, pero pinaka-the best will be uterine artery. Pero pag tanong, what blood vessel is being detected to rule out fetal anemia? MCA, yung sagot. Okay? Kumbaga may exception. Pinaka-best would be uterine artery na sagot. Pero pag ang sabi ay fetal anemia, that's MCA. Okay? Sige. Any questions, class? Ito wala. Ito masyado itong ano. So, what are the current antenatal testing recommendation? There is no best test to evaluate fetal well-being. Pwede mong pagsamasamahin. Yun nga lang, it's not cost-effective for the patient. Okay? So, kailangan alam mo kung ano yung tinitest mo. And make sure that your patient is compliant. Especially kapag pangit yung mga results ng kanilang antenatal testing. Okay? So, 2 points to consider in deciding when to begin antepartum testing. prognosis of the neonatal survival, and severity of the maternal disease. Okay, so for most high-risk patients, it's usually 32 to 34 weeks. Pero if with severe complications, kunyari diabetic, hypertensive, in thyroid storm, huwag nyo namang 32 to 34 weeks. You can start as early as 26 weeks. And then, interval of test is weekly or even more frequent pagka high-risk patients. Okay? So, ito yung point na yan. Hindi ko naman tatanungin yan. And these are the indications for antenatal testing. It could be a remember type of question. Okay? Maternal, pregnancy-related, and fetal. Okay? Any questions, class? Questions? Questions, class? Wala? Makita niyo yung quiz mo. Pagod na ako. Bababa na yung kulog ko sa balcony. Joke. Now, like what I've said, you have to differentiate ante versus intrapartum. Okay? Pag intrapartum, it is during labor. Okay? So again, we are gonna use cardiotocography, no? And then fetal monitoring, as you can see here. So basically, parang pareho sila. So mas mabilis na lang to. Okay, pare-pareho lang yan. CTG tracing pa din. Okay? So baseline rate and baseline, as sabi ko nga, di ba, intrapartum, we're talking about intrapartum, kaya dapat lahat may contractions na yan. Okay? We're not talking about antepartum already. Iba ang interpretation ng intra at saka ng antepartum. Yun lang ang kailangan yung maalala. But you still check for the baseline rate and the baseline variability. Okay? This is the description of the baseline. Basically the same, just you just have to know the definition. Okay? Diba? Nakita nyo na to kanina. Okay? 125 bits just by eyeballing. Make a straight line. Then yun yung baseline. Okay? Alam nyo na rin to, the variability, di ba? This one is absent, minimal, moderate, and marked. Kailangan ma-differentiate niyan. Okay, what will be the causes of decreased or absent variability? It could either be fetal acidemia, prematurity, vagal blockade, or defective cardiac conduction system, which is all pathologic. Pero pag fetal sleep, very important din yan kasi it can have a decrease or absent variability. That's why you need to extend. Okay, pag ganun pa rin, then deliver. When you see a minimal or absent, no, wala na kayo, hindi nyo na siya mauuwiin eh. Kailangan i-repeat nyo pa din. Okay, yung NSD. Pag ganun pa din, then induce, deliver. Okay, sinusoidal pattern, nakita nyo na yan kanina. What will be the causes? Severe fetal anemia. Okay? So what's the management? Dictated by the clinical setting. If there's a fetal indication or maternal indication, then do cesarean section kung kailangan immediate delivery. Bradycardia is less than 110. Oh, ito, 90 yan, o less than 110. So that's bradycardia. What will be the causes? Head compression. So, kunyari, pinakita yung tracing na to. Kunyari, patient is being monitored in the labor room for the progress of labor. On baseline, on CTG, there was a note of, pinakita yung CTG na yan. Okay? What is the next best step? A, do cesarean section. B, discontinue oxytocin. C, do internal examination. And D, await for spontaneous vaginal delivery. What do you think is the next best step? Ay, muna. Why? Kasi nga, bradycardia could be due to head compression. Diba? Nakita niyo kanina yon. Ano ba yun? Head compression. Baka naman andyan na yung ulo kaya nagko-compress. Diba? Ang sagot dyan ay do internal examination. Kasi ang tanong is next best step. Syempre, out na yung CS, di ba? Hindi yun yung next best step. Hindi porke CS yun agad ang sagot. No. Okay? Syempre, hindi rin await spontaneous vaginal delivery because you have to do something. Kasi may tracing ka na bradycardia eh. So, out na dapat yon. Na-eliminate nyo na dapat yon. So, pagpipilian nyo na lang, either discontinue OPSI or do internal examination. Next best step doon is IV. Kasi clerk kayo na nagbabantay doon. Yun yung assumption. Okay? So, mag-physical exam muna bago mag-manage. Diba? Diba? Tama? PE mo muna, babe. Sumera ka, patay agad ng ano, diba? Next best step ay ika muna. And then based on your IE, based on your PE, ano ang gagawin mo? Because discontinuing IV oxytocin is a form of management. Diba? SOAP. Subjective, objective, assessment, plan. Okay, yun lagi ang sequence ng management. This one is tachycardia. More than 160 beats per minute. Hindi yung tachycardia, sorry. Mali yung... hindi ako tama. Dito ako nakatingin sa baba. Ito. 180s. Okay. What will be the causes? Maternal fever, which is the most common, fetal compromise, cardiac arrhythmias, or atropine and terbutaline. Okay? So, tingnan niyo yung stem. Baka mamaya may mga ganyang gamot, pathologic agad ng tuwid nyo. Okay, you know this already, accelerations. Alam nyo na yan, ha? Alam nyo na yung curly. Right? Carry nyo na to? Carry? Okay. Inulit na lang natin itong mga slides na to. Alam nyo na yung late. After uterine contractions palagi. Late deceleration is always pathologic. Okay? Nakita nyo na yung mga tracing na yan. And then, variable also. Okay? Again, pagka variable, it's not always pathologic. Okay? Pwedeng head compression din yan. Or oligohydramnios. Oligohydramnios is pathologic. Okay? Okay? So, patterns of uterine activity, we have to compute Montevideo units. Paano ba mag-compute? I-add nyo lang yung peak ng uterine contractions. We're talking about uterine contractions na class, ha? Hindi na to heartbeat kasi ayan, hanggang 100 lang. Okay? So, like this one. 70 plus 70 plus 70. Ilan yun? 210 Montevideo units. Add lang. Yun ang gagawin nyo. Pwede kayong pag-compute na. Ito. And what's the Montevideo units for this? It's 90 plus 80. Mga 180. Okay? Now, fetal scalp sampling, hindi naman natin ito masyadong ginagawa. Usually yan, ginagawa kapag nakita nyo na pangit yung deceleration, no? Prolonged or variable. Pero usually yan ginagawa kapag ang mga baby ay nasa preterm pa. Pero pag labor na, wherein ang ano mo doon is delivery na talaga, kasi nga hindi mo naman kinoconsider yung prematurity, then you may opt not to do fetal scalp sampling. Kasi acidemia ang gustong ma-detect ng fetal scalp sampling. Okay? Kapag ang pH is more than 7.25, observe labor. Kapag 7.20 to 7.25, you repeat the pH within 30 minutes. And kapag pH is less than 7.20, pwede ka nang mag-deliver. Okay? So you have to memorize the values. Pero in real clinical setting, hindi na namin ginagawa yan. Okay, pero for theoretical purposes, then you need to. Okay, now for fetal scalp stimulation, i-rub nyo lang actually yung scalp. I.e., rub the scalp para na ma-stimulate yung baby. Okay? Or vibroacoustic stimulation. Mag-bell ka, expected na maririnig yun ni baby, magigising siya. Okay? Kasi remember, di ba, by development sa ear, di ba? Maririnig na nila at 24 weeks and above. Okay? Ito, fetal ECG or fetal electrocardiography, hindi na natin ito kailangan. Basta alam nyo lang na may ganyan. Parang 2D echo ng bata. Okay, fetal distress, non-reassuring. Yan. Ito ang kailangan nyo intindihin. Okay, so again, like what I've said, basically the same. Okay? Pero ang intrapartum is during labor. No? This ACOG tearing of fetal heart rate will determine your form of management. Kapag category 1, normal. Kapag category 2, indeterminate. Pag category 3, abnormal, requiring immediate delivery. Okay? Ngayon, ang mahirap dito ay kailangan alam nyo kung anong ibig sabihin kapag category 1, kapag category 2, or category 3 based on the CTG tracing. Okay? Pag category 1, which is normal, there should be a baseline rate of 110 to 160 beats per minute with a variability of moderate, absent late or variable deceleration, present or absent early deceleration, and present or absent accelerations. So meaning, kaya tayo nagpo-focus kanina on defining what these are with regards to variability because kapag management na, tinatanong sa inyo, kailangan i-categorize nyo sa category 1, 2, or 3. Kasi kapag category 1, then you can opt to observe, you can opt to send your patient home, yung mga ganyan. Okay? So kapag category 1, for example this one, that's a normal CTG. Kailangan may component ha. So kung tracing lang ang binigay sa inyo, tas sinabi, what is the theory of the CTG tracing below? So ang ibig sabihin doon, ang pagpipilian nyo lang 1, 2, or 3. Eh kung hindi nyo alam i-interpret yan, hindi nyo na masasagot. Okay? Ito ang components ng category 1. Okay? Pag category 2, mga practice ano lang po. Pag category 3, it's abnormal. Okay, so it's either there is a recurrent late variable decelerations, recurrent late deceleration, or bradycardia. Okay? Yung picture na pinakita ko sa inyo kanina, sinusoidal pattern, yung may parang ganun-ganun. Pag yan ang nakita nyo sa tracing, category 3, what's the next best step? Deliver. You get it? So the theory will help you know what the management is. So, ibig sabihin, pag category, pwede ka pa magpa-managing ng konti. Okay? Pag category 3, deliver na yan. Okay? Vaginal ba to? Or NSD? It depends. Okay? Baka mamaya doon, pinakita yung tracing. What's the next best step? A, NSD. Pero syempre, dapat may dagdag yun. Kunyari, ganyan yung, ang tracing is sinusoidal. Okay? Sige, ganito. For example, patient, 38 weeks, chronically hypertensive, diabetic, o doon pa lang, dapat, pathologic to. Kasi nilagay niya na eh. Hypertensive, tsaka diabetic. On internal examination, cervix is closed, soft, floating. Primary, gravid. Okay, nakalagay. Tapos, CTG tracing, pinakita yung sinusoidal pattern. What is the next best step? Ang hirap naman yun do. Create type of question yun. What's the next best step? A, deliver. A, awake normal spontaneous delivery. B, cesarean section. C, outlet forceps extraction. Anong sagot? Ha? Anong sagot? Sinusoidal pattern, ha? Chronic hypertensive, diabetic. Category 3 na kasi yun eh. Diba? So, deliver. SCS and awake spontaneous delivery, doktora, is both deliver. Tingnan mo yung IE. The IE is close. Tapos, primary. When you look at the physiology of labor in a primary gravid, matagal. Chronic hypertensive, diabetic, nag-awake spontaneous delivery ka pa. So most likely, CS na yan. Definitely not an outlet forceps extraction. Dapat, kung alam niyo yung outlet, tanggal na yun sa choices niya. Process of elimination na yun. Pagpipilian nyo na lang, those are all forms of delivery kasi, di ba? Normal spontaneous, cesarean section, tsaka outlet. Those are all forms of delivery. Outlet is you need to put bakal. Di ba? So out na yon. Okay? Yung A and B, pwede, kaya lang tingnan mo yung IE. Okay? Palitan ko kunwari, same. Primary, 38 weeks, chronic hypertensive, diabetic, on IE, 9 cm dilated, station +2. What is the next best step? A, await spontaneous vaginal delivery. B, cesarean section. C, outlet forceps. Anong sagot? Ha? Out ng CS doon. Kasi 9 cm na yung patient eh. As opposed to kanina na close at loading. Kasi you expect in 30 minutes manganganak na yan. You get it? Definitely not a forceps. Kasi by criteria, hindi siya papasok sa forceps. Pag may nakita kayong forceps class, sagot yun. Pag wala talaga kayong ibang choice, or pag hindi kayo nag-aaral, forceps ang sasagot yun. Okay? Now, kapag category 2, ayan o, laki-laki ha, naka-red pa, deliver. Pero hindi lahat ng deliver is equivalent to cesarean section. It will depend pag dinagdagan yan. Okay? Kunyari, sinusoidal pattern. Yun lang. Interpret. Tapos ang interpretation nyo, sinusoidal pattern. Ano ang next best management? Send your patient home. Repeat MST. Deliver. 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 Kasi category 3 eh. Diba? Sinusoidal pattern. That's always deliver. Okay? Category 3, always deliver yan. Huwag na kayo masyadong mag-isip ng kung ano-ano. Tulad nito, nalagay na nga, oligohydramnion. Actually, just by reading the step, dapat meron na kayong thought process na pathologic. Eh. Para alam nyo that your management should be always to deliver the baby. Okay? Sinusoidal pattern. Category 2 is indeterminate. So when you say category 2, bradycardia not accompanied by absent baseline variability, or tachycardia, or a variability that is minimal, or absent baseline variability not accompanied by recurrent deceleration, or marked baseline variability. Yan ang pwede nyo makita kapag category 2. Doktora, kanina pa yung stoplight na yan. Ano bang ano yan? Di ba? Nakita nyo kanina, green is go, meaning go, pwede ka pang mag-observe. Red is stop, kailangan mo nang mag-deliver, you don't have room for observing. And yellow is pause. Pag-isipan mo muna mabuti. I-deliver mo ba? O hindi mo i-deliver? Okay, kaya may stoplight. May significance yung stoplight na yan. Sorry, hindi ko nabanggit kayo. Okay, so you have room to wait. Okay? So it's not a predictive of abnormal fetal acid-based status, requires continuous surveillance and reevaluation, and you can still do resuscitative measures or do ancillary tests to ensure fetal well-being. Okay, for example, indeterminate, category 2, preterm, di ba? Huwag mo agad i-deliver. So for example, patient 35 weeks, kunyari ito, 25-year-old, primary gravid, 7 cm, 80% base, intact bag of water, cephalic station -2, CTG tracing revealed, ayan. So, kailangan alam nyo. So, ibig sabihin, category 2 yan. Okay, Dok, meron na siyang mga decelerations. Ayan. CS na natin to. Wait ka lang. 7 cm na yan, 80% base. Even if she's primary, magli-labor yan. Huwag kang atat mag-CS. Okay? You get it? O, ito isa. Yan. Again, wait ka lang din. Kasi wala pa rin masyadong contractions eh. Baka pwede mong i-extend. Okay? Pwede kang mag-observe. But slightest indication, deliver. Okay? Okay, so what resuscitative measures for category 2 or 3 tracing? Basta category 3, deliver na yan. Okay? So, ngayon, amniotic fluid na meconium stain is not always an indication of pathology. Okay? Kasi pwedeng physiologic yan. A term fetus, especially more than 39 weeks, no, pwede siya mag-poop na talaga. Okay? So, it's not always an indication to do an outright cesarean section. But if it's secondary to hypoxia, then you have to think about it. Okay, baka mamaya, meconium stained, tapos hypertensive, no? Baka kailangan i-deliver mo na yan immediately. Now, there will be a difference. A 9 cm meconium stained multigravid versus a multigravid meconium stained at 1 cm. Ano yun? Yung isa, pwede pang mag-NSB yan. Okay, kasi within 30 minutes manganganak yan. Remember, multigravid eh. Okay? Pero multigravid pa rin, pero 1 cm pa lang. Nasa anong phase ng ano yon? Anong phase ng parturition yon? Phase 1. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, nasa latent phase pa lang siya. Ibig sabihin, nasa quiescent stage pa lang siya. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, baka kailangan mong i-CS yan. Diba? Kasi, ang tagal pa niyan. Pwedeng manganak yan ng 2 weeks. Diba? Get it? Okay? Pero, pag ang step is may nakalagay na ruptured bag of waters, ang next best step doon is laging admit. Okay? Kung may choice ng admit. Kasi mo na pwedeng pauwiin yun. Remember, parang kang nagbukas ng gate. Lahat ng tao pwede nang pumasok. Meaning, lahat ng infection from your normal vaginal flora can already go up to your ascending infection to your amniotic fluid. Okay? Ngayon, magkakatalo na lang yan kung preterm or term. Pag term, deliver mo na, B. Mag-oxy ka na, induce mo na. Kasi wala ka naman ang iniisip na lung surfactant, di ba? Term na yan. I'm sure, kompleto na. Kailan ang completion ng lung surfactant? Until what age of gestation? Para alam mo kung mag-initiate ka ng steroid. Kasi baka mamaya bigyan kayo ng ganon, preterm. Tapos may choice dun sa may choice, meron kasama kunyari admit, do steroid therapy, and hydration. Kailan ka magbibigay ng steroid? Para tama kayo ng sagot. Kasi ang steroid, pinag-usapan na natin yan, di ba? Di ba? Sa embryogenesis. Kailan? Para alam mo kung magbibigay ba ako o hindi. Kasi baka mamaya sayang lang magbabayad yung pasyente, tapos hindi naman. Ano? Kailan? At saka kailan ka rin mag-initiate? Ikaw to, bilang katabi kita. Kailan ka mag-initiate? Ha? Ikaw to. Anong age? Mali. Okay? Dapat between 24 to 34 weeks age of gestation. Kasi 20 weeks wala ka pang ano yung tinitingnan mo sa 20 weeks to produce the surfactant. Yung perfect. Papasa ka. Joke. Tayo ko okay? Kailangan alam nyo yon. Ngayon, pag 35 weeks, doktora, huwag ka na mabigyan ng steroid. Kasi at 34 weeks, that's theoretically yan. Pero ako minsan, ang mga tipong 35 weeks, medyo kabakaba, nervyosa si doktora, steroid muna. Okay lang yan. For whatever it's worth. But theoretically, until 34 weeks lang. Okay? Pediatric societies would appreciate if you'll give steroid at 35 weeks. Completed, ha? Kasi remember, di ba? Dapat at least 24 hours mabigay mo yung steroid. May doses yan eh. Okay? Hindi porke binigyan mo ng isang injection. Pwede yan. At least may steroid. Kailangan completed dose ang steroid. Okay? Now, going back, we have our meconium aspiration syndrome. Napag-aralan nyo na ito, di ba? Sa embryogenesis also. Okay? Questions, class? Questions? Ayan, kulay green. Pagka meconium stained, decrease ang oxygen supply kay baby, increase ang carbon dioxide, magagasp siya, okay? Malulunok niya yung staining. Pupunta siya sa lungs ni baby. Kaya ang tawag dyan ay aspiration. Yun naman yung worry mo. Diba? Kasi like yung example ko kanina, multigravid, 1 cm. Di persistently because of the staining, decrease ang oxygen yan. So gasp siya ng gasp. Pag nag-gasp siya ng gasp, lunok siya ng lunok ng, hindi naman mag-differentiate ng bata yan. Ay, kulay green, tae yan, ayoko. Ay, pupu yan. Ayoko yung ano yan, diba? Hindi naman niya alam yun eh. So siya, pag basta nag-gasp siya, kasi yun yung reaction niya sa decreased oxygen supply. Diba? Okay, you get it, class? So, meconium aspiration syndrome. O sige, can you please look at this? Is this an NST or CST? Ha? Fraction stress test. Nasaan? Is that an NST or CST? Hangin naman kasi ng facing ko. Well, technically, less than 25 Montevideo units yan eh. So, dapat yan, NST lang yan. Kaso, anong problema dito? Wala kang vital movement. So, kung yan lang, pwede kong i-ano yan na CST. Diba? Kaya hindi mo yan may interpret. So, equivocal yan. Kasi wala kang contractions. Sufficient enough to do interpretation. Okay? So kapag tickly meconium state, amniotic fluid, amnio infusion na ginagawa. Pero usually hindi yun ginagawa dito sa atin. Masyado. Kung ako yung OB, deliver ko na yan. Baka una akong mamatay bago mamatay yung bata sa stress. Okay, remember kapag OB ka, dalawang pasyente mo. Yung nanay at saka yung baby. Kaya pag OB ka, at ayaw mo nai-store mo ka sa tulong mo, sa whatever quality time mo with your husband or baby or anak, kung ayaw mong maingay po, huwag ka mag-ubi. No? Because you have to be always alert. Ako, pag may 37 weeks na, hindi na ako nakakatulog ng maayos. Kasi naamangan ko sila eh. Diba? Alam mo, at any time, pwede silang mag-report. Okay? But, like what I've said, hindi namin masyadong ginagawa yung infusion, going back to the topic, no? Because these are the following complications. Pag nag-amnio infusion ka, usually kinocommit mo na na i-deliver mo yan. Okay? So these are the current recommendation for fetal monitoring. Pag low risks at pag high risk. Okay? Any questions? Questions, class? Wala? Okay, done. So you have quiz later on, 11 to 12. Ito ba yung, ano na, hindi, sino bony pelvis niyo? Sorry. Yung isang section kasi wala sa pagkoraan. Pero may module naman tayo eh. And that module, all our modules are uniform. Nasa ano naman yun. Okay? May tanong kayo, mga anak, bago ako umakyat kasi moderator din ako sa conference. Questions? May problem kayo sa mga consultants mo? Masyado ba akong makulit sa GC? Pasensya na. Ganun talaga. Kasi pag di ko kayo maintindihan,